Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I am Councilmember Rita Joseph, representing the 40th Council District, but more importantly, I'm the Education Chair in the New York City Council. I usually start by saying good morning, but it's not a good morning. We have a New York City public school student in ICE custody as a result of Trump's undemocratic, authoritarian, fascist regime. Mamadou did the right thing. He showed up for his routine check-in, and he was abducted, a student seeking a better life. Pursuing his education has been stripped of it all. As a mother, a forever educator, and an immigrant, I am heartbroken, but I know more than ever I will fight alongside the great New Yorkers here to bring Mamadou home. We will not rest until Mamadou is back home. I know Mamadou may not see all of this here, fighting for his return, but this is what we do as New Yorkers. We show up for our neighbors and support them. But let me be very clear, I will not be intimidated by the Trump administration. We will double down, work together, and remain vigilant to protect one another. The fabric of the city in the thread of diversity, that is our superpower. Thank you to the organizers, my colleagues in government, and everyday New Yorkers who are joining us in this fight today. Take a good look at this young man who came here from his home in West Africa. He's alone, he's 20 years old, he's doing the right thing, he's working, and today, Monday, he was abducted by this administration. Enough is enough when our young people go missing. Enough is enough. But today we stand in solidarity. You see my colleagues, my advocates, my friends in government. We're tired, but that doesn't mean we stop fighting. The fight is even more. Because we cannot live in a society where they keep abducting our citizens. People who came here for the dream that we promised, an American dream. So with that, I'm gonna kick it over to CM Wrestler. Come on, CM Wrestler.
We should not be here today. What has happened to Mouctar is disgraceful. But I'm grateful for you all to stand with us. I'm grateful that we have such an amazing coalition that is demanding Mouctar's immediate release. We're fortunate in the City Council to have two great champions for immigrant youth in our Education Chair, Rita Joseph, and our Immigration Chair, Alexa Aviles. I just am grateful to all of you for joining us in this fight. I especially want to recognize Dr. Alona Cohen, the principal of Brooklyn Frontiers High School. Thank you for being with us. I want to thank Advocates for Children and Good Shepherd Services and all of the organizations and groups who have been working with Mouctar since he came to New York just last year. Mouctar has followed every single rule. He has done things exactly the right way. He is seeking asylum here in the United States. He has become deeply enmeshed in our Brooklyn community. He recently completed a culinary internship. He's completed a security guard training program and is excited to get to work. He's a member of the Audubon Society. He's a model student in our downtown Brooklyn community. And yet Donald Trump and his goons abducted him last week when he was doing the right thing by showing up at his immigration hearing. But we all know that Donald Trump is trying to scare us. He is abducting people en masse when they go into their immigration proceedings, when they try to follow the rules. So we are out here today to make clear that we will fight back. Mouctar has no family here. He's just relying on his friends in the community at Brooklyn Frontiers, and he's relying on all of us to speak up for him, to demand his release, and to demand that all immigrants be treated fairly, be treated justly, that we stop these heinous abductions once and for all. Now, we're a couple weeks away from school beginning, and we want every student in New York City to know that they are safe in school. This abduction did not happen at Brooklyn Frontiers High School. It did not happen in a school building. But it is a harrowing day. It is a scary moment. And we have to get loud. We have to organize. We have to fight back. And we have to make clear to Donald Trump and his minions that we will not stand by. We will fight back every step of the way to ensure Mouctar and every student, every immigrant is released and treated fairly in our system. I'd like to turn it over to the chair of our immigration committee, my friend and colleague, Alexa Aviles.
Good morning, everyone. I am Alexa Aviles. I'm the chair of the immigration committee and the representative of District 38 in South Brooklyn. We have been having these press conferences, what feels like almost on a weekly basis, if not on a daily basis, throughout New York City. This is wrong. This is kidnapping. In fact, I would take it a step further and say that this Trump administration is human trafficking people across the country. This is not what our democracy stands for, and it is certainly not what keeps our communities safe. In fact, bringing this violence into our communities is creating awful conditions of fear, conditions of people not going to the hospitals, of not going to schools, hatred. This is all brought by the Trump administration to our city, and we 100% unequivocally reject it. We will stand with our immigrant neighbors. We will stand with our sanctuary city policies. We will stand with our students and human dignity for all people. We must reject this at every step of the way. So we need every New Yorker to contribute to this plight of protecting our city and all who are within its boundaries. And so to the family, to the friends, to the community who have been deeply impacted by not only Mouctar, but the hundreds of other people that have been abducted at 26 Federal Plaza. We are with you. We will fight for you, and we will fight for all other New Yorkers. This is against the law. This is lawlessness. And it is impacting every community. The Chinese community, the Black community, the Latino community, the Russian community. If you are not Native American, you were not born here as a U.S. citizen, you are at risk. And it will affect you one way or another. So please stand with us for justice and human dignity. Let's demand the release of Mouctar and every individual cruelly and unnecessarily detained by this abhorrent, hateful administration. Thank you.
We'll now hear from, we are fortunate in New York City to have a remarkable set of immigrant advocates that are galvanized by the New York Immigration Coalition. I'd like to invite their executive director, Murad, to come up and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Murad Ouauda, and I'm the president and CEO of the New York Immigration Coalition. I would say it's a pleasure being here with you all, but it really is not. This is not the first New York City public school student who has been taken, who was tricked and trapped at a courthouse to come in, and then detained and disappeared the next second that they got out of their courtroom. we have to remember not only Mamadou Mouctar Diallo, who was just recently taken, but also Dylan Lopez Contreras, who was the first New York City public school student who was disappeared by this administration. And we continue to see day in and day out the lawlessness of the Trump administration in executing their horrific family separation and mass deportation agenda. New Yorkers know better. Americans know better. That there is no way that as a country we can continue to power forward without the engine that keeps us running, which is our immigrant communities.
Right.
But this federal administration doesn't want you to think that immigrants are good for this country. Because we are, because they need a villain. And what we have seen is that New York City has become the epicenter of courtroom detainments. People going to court seeking justice and safety being faced with injustice. The Trump administration wants you to believe that they're doing this to keep us safe. We know this has nothing to do with safety. They're trying to spread and sow even more chaos, more fear, and push people more into the shadows. This has never been about safety and security, it's about cruelty. Today we're rallying for Mamadou Mouctar Diallo, and we are demanding his immediate release.
Yes.
His immediate release today. He is someone who is beloved by the community that he has built. I want to give a huge shout out to Good Shepherd Services.
Yes.
They have been at the front line of fighting for him and making sure that no one misses the opportunity to step up and stand for justice. And I want to thank specifically my sister Annie Menendez for constantly bringing the people most impacted to the front. We deserve better as a nation. We deserve better as New Yorkers. And the only way we're going to get there is by demanding that and fighting unified. We are not in a moment where we are testing the limits of our constitutional rights. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. We need to fight for our democracy, because they are saying some people in this country have rights and others don't. And if that's the case, none of us do. So I call on all New Yorkers and anyone watching, step up and start fighting back. Fight for Dylan, fight for Mamadou, and fight for the 7-year-old who was taken at 26 Federal Plaza with her mother and her brother just a few days ago. They are trying to wear us down, but we have even more battery packs put in our backs every single day when we see the injustices happening in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to now introduce my borough president, Antonio Reynoso.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Buenos días. En este momento lo que nosotros estamos viendo es que tenemos un presidente que nos dijo a nuestra comunidad que iba a estar debajo de buscar a criminales en nuestro país para deportarlo y hacernos a nosotros más seguros. No es lo que pasó. En este momento tenemos un estudiante que se llama Mouctar Diallo, que estaba haciendo todo bien. Estaba en la escuela aprendiendo a cocinar, parte de nuestra comunidad aquí en Brooklyn. Y lo que hicieron es cuando fue a corte, se lo llevaron. Un hombre que no ha tenido ni un toque con la justicia criminal o el sistema criminal o el sistema de justicia aquí en los Estados Unidos. Ahora nosotros estamos viendo el delegado que está buscando Trump, que es atrás de gente inocente que están haciendo todo bien. No son los criminales. A ustedes, alante de su cara, le está mintiendo, le está diciendo lo que está haciendo. Pero nosotros aquí estamos muy claros, lo vemos muy claro lo que está pasando.
no es solamente una injusticia, es de parte de un acabar nuestra constitución aquí en los Estados Unidos. Nosotros tenemos derecho. Mouctar Diallo tienes derecho. Aquí estamos contribuyendo para mejorar este país. Y sabemos que nuestros inmigrantes, la familia inmigrante de nosotros, están asustados. Pero nosotros que no somos inmigrantes o que ya tenemos nuestra ciudadanía, no estamos asustados. Estamos aquí para pelear. Estamos aquí para asegurar que lo apoyemos a ellos. Porque no, yo pudiera ser el primer presidente de un condado como un inmigrante sin el esfuerzo de los inmigrantes, de los padres míos y los que llegaron antes de ellos. Pues aquí estamos apoyándolo a él, no solamente con los oficiales electos que están atrás de mí, pero su escuela. La principal está aquí apoyándola, los maestros apoyándolo, porque esto es una injusticia y basta. Gracias.
Gracias, Antonio. When I say free, you say Mouctar. Free!
Mouctar!
Free!
Mouctar!
When I say free, you say Mouctar. Free!
Mouctar!
Free!
Mouctar!
When I say free, you say Mouctar. Free!
Mouctar!
Free!
Mouctar!
Free them all, everybody.
That's right.
Next up, I want you all to hear from our controller, who has put his body on the line, has shown up at Federal Plaza time and again to help protect immigrant New Yorkers. Let's give it up for Brad Lander.
Thank you, council members. Wrestler Joseph for convening us today. A big thank you to our council members for leading here, and to the Immigration Coalition, and for all the advocates. Look, every day right now is bringing fresh horrors. And I'll be honest, it's hard to keep paying enough attention to all of them. Yesterday, we see federal troops rolling into Washington, D.C., taking over an American city. A few days ago, we got the first look at conditions inside 26 Federal Plaza. Thankfully, a federal judge recognizes that those are inhumane, but it's every single day some new thing is happening. And look, this is what Trump meant by shock and awe. They want to make it harder for us to be outraged by things that are outrageous, to be horrified by things that are horrific. But I will tell you one thing that is horrific and outrageous is abducting and locking up children.
That's right.
And that's what we're talking about today. Mouctar is 20 years old. He is a high school student. He's here without his family. That is the kind of kid, the kind of young person who has found it possible to escape to New York City and then get settled here. And what we don't allow, what we're not going to allow, is our young people, the future of this city, kids without their families trying to make it here, to be abducted by people purporting to be government officials, and then to be put in conditions that none of us could tolerate our own children being placed in. So I really do want to thank the people who are calling all of our attention, in particular to the plight of young people. That includes, as Murad said, Good Shepherd Services. I also really want to thank The Door, which has been providing legal services and support for this set of young people, an organization called ROC, R-O-C-C, NYC. These are folks who started working with a lot of these young people at the Asylum Application Help Center. And when the Adams administration closed that center with no real plan, a set of people said there are a few hundred young people here without their families who need the help of New Yorkers. And Mouctar is one of those folks. And I have had the blessing to get to meet a couple of the others that folks have been showing up for in court. So my last trip to 26 Federal Plaza was with a young man, Ibrahima, who's also from Guinea. And I'll tell you how you know he's already a New Yorker, is that I asked him some things about New York City, you know, what food he liked. I asked him what I would like from Guinea, and he said, of course, I would like the jollof rice. And I said to him, I understand there's like a debate amongst people in Africa, who makes the best jollof rice? And he said to me, well, I'm from Guinea. I'm supposed to say that Guinea has the best jollof rice. But you know what? Since I've been here, I got to taste the Senegalese jollof rice, and I think maybe it's better in Senegal. And I was like, Ibrahima, you're a New Yorker. And that is what we're talking about, is the future of this city. It is a place where you're oppressed around the world, or you don't have a family, and you get here. We take you in our high schools and we help you learn English and become the next generation of brilliant, thriving, generous New Yorkers. But we will destroy that tradition if we don't maintain our horror and outrage when young people, for no reason at all, let's be clear, Mouctar showed up in court. He got a next court date from the judge, and the ICE agents who abducted him, who kept him in inhumane conditions at 26 Federal Plaza, who have shipped him to Pennsylvania, who don't give a damn about his safety or well-being, are willing to move our country toward lawlessness, toward authoritarianism, to where we turn a blind eye to concentration camps. We're not going to allow that to happen on our watch. So thank you to everybody who's doing this work to stand up for young people. Thank you to everybody who's here today to make sure we're going to stay outraged. We're going to keep fighting. Free Mouctar. Free Mouctar. Free Mouctar. Free them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comptroller. The next person I'd like to come up is our public advocate, Jumani William. In Haitian Creole, he is Avocat Pepla.
Thank you so much. Peace and blessing, love and light to everyone. Thank you, council members. Thank you to the groups that have been working together. I'm here as a son of immigrants, here as a New Yorker, but really I'm here as a friggin' human being. I think they are trying their best to erase the humanity in so many of us. It is stunning to see what's happening on a daily basis in the United States of America. To be clear, we are under an authoritarian regime. This is an authoritarian president. He hasn't been able to do all of the authoritarian things he wants to yet, but he's working on it. And so, to the people who are watching, to the people of faith, to the people of good conscience, at some point, you have to say, God damn it, enough. At some point, you have to say that. They are taking children now and high school students. Can you imagine being Mouctar in high school one day, going to court to do things the right way, as a good person, quote unquote, would, and being abducted in inhumane conditions, being shipped God knows where in your mind with no family and no one. Now imagine you're a 7-year-old child. This was never about public safety. This has never been about criminality. It just hasn't been. We are seeing the burgeoning of horror happening in here, and this is not an exaggeration. People laughing about concentration camps in Alligator Alley and people being eaten if they try to escape. High school students being abducted. They are playing on the fears that too many people have. They are literally saying this is not a place primarily for black and brown folks, especially immigrant black and brown folks. That is what is happening. So I'm pleading with folks to get off your couches, to really understand what's happening here. You have an American president who has taken over an American city with the National Guard and is abducting people in courts and different places across this country. High school students, children, families that have no criminal charges against them. That means no one is safe. You cannot hide behind your TV, you cannot hide behind your social media, whatever it is. This is really happening. What makes me saddest is that here in New York City, we have a mayor who is saying and doing nothing about it. That really hurts my heart. I'm happy that he only has 5 months left, but I'm hoping in those 5 months you do something that makes this city proud. Stand up, Eric Adams, and let the city know that you care about what's happening. In your last 5 months, do something that you can leave some kind of proud legacy. But for New York and New Yorkers and Americans, we have seen enough. It is time for us to understand all of our safety is linked to everyone else's. This young man should be going to high school in a few weeks. That's what should be happening. But it is not. Because of Donald Trump, I'm just shocked and I'm stunned, and I'm hoping that everybody decides how bad this is and says, how are we going to get involved? What can I do with what I have where I am to protect people like this young man and all of us, because no one is safe right now. Thank you.
Nobody has stood with immigrant communities more loudly and more effectively than our public advocate, Jumaane Williams. It's now my privilege to bring up the council member from this community in Lower Manhattan, my friend and colleague, Chris Marte.
Hi everyone, I'm Councilmember Christopher Marte. I represent the courts in Lower Manhattan. Earlier this year, on the Lower East Side, we had a mayoral forum. An 8-year-old girl stood up to the podium and said, what are you going to do to make sure that ICE doesn't come to my community or come to my school? That was an 8-year-old girl, concerned not for her safety, but the safety of her friends, the safety of her neighbors. Today, many kids across the city are going to be watching this news and know that school is just a few weeks away. And even though this did not happen at a public school or any school, they're going to register that he was a high school student, that he was abducted, and because he was an immigrant. And so I want to thank many people behind me, because this administration, the Trump administration, has been doing this to make us numb, to make us not react, to make us not come out in the streets, in the rallies, to make sure that people are heard and we're putting a spotlight on this. Because this student right here should be ready to go to school in a few weeks. One of the things I love about this photo is the camera he has wrapped around his neck. It's really symbolic that we have so much press in front of us. Because this could be you. For anyone who has a camera, this could be you. Anyone who likes to take photos of birds, this could be you. Whoever wants to take a cooking class, this could be you. And for anyone who's a son of immigrants, a grandson of immigrants, this could have been them. And so we cannot stay silent. We must continue to fight back, because the day we are silent is the day we lose democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. I'd like to call Keith from Make the Road.
Thank you, Keith. Keith. Making his way.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith Fuller, and I'm the youth organizer with Make the Road New York, and right next to me is...
Hi, I'm Yoretzi Valera, and I'm a youth member from Make the Road.
And so we're here today because there's something truly wrong happening in our city, and our students' lives, our students' safety, our students' freedom are on the line. Last week, another high school student in Brooklyn was detained during his immigration court hearing. His name was Mamadou Mouctar Diallo. It is shameful that this can happen here in the city of New York, the city that we call our home. It is shameful that our federal government is forcing students to live on a what-if basis. What if ICE is at my train station? What if ICE is at my bus stop? What if ICE is outside my corner store? What if ICE is waiting outside my street? What if ICE is waiting outside my house? What if ICE is waiting outside my school? Instead of focusing on future quizzes, what's for lunch, or whether or not they finish their homework on time, our students are left worrying about what the federal government has in store for them. This is not right. Our government is creating conditions that make students afraid to even show up to school. But it is good to see everyone here today, because in solidarity, we can be the constant reminder to our students that they have allies, that they have power, and that together we will do everything possible to keep them safe. Mamadou is the 4th student that I know of that has been detained by ICE, and I'm sure there have been many more. I know that everyone here will fight not only to free him, but to make sure that no more students fall victim to a corrupt and unjust system. Dylan should be free, and we will continue to fight until he is. Derlis is free, and I am grateful for that. And also Jocelyn. But no student, no person should ever be thrown away or separated from their school or family.
The city needs to step up and defend our students. We must protect our students, because if we don't, who will? The detention of Mamadou is unjust and sickening. These are our students. These are our future leaders. We will not stop fighting until they are free. In just a few weeks, students will be heading back to school. Let's make sure Dylan and Mamadou will too. Free Dylan, free Mamadou, and let's ensure no other students is ever forced to live under these conditions again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Make the Road New York. Next up, it's my privilege to invite Beth Baltimore from The Door. It's been providing legal services and where Mouctar had been accessing support and services. Beth, go ahead. Thanks so much.
Thank you everyone for being here. I'm Beth Baltimore. I'm an attorney and I'm the Deputy Director of the Doors Legal Services Center. Thank you. I want to say a special thank you to Brad Lander, who's been accompanying many of our members to court, and to my City Council member, Rita Joseph, for organizing this today. Mouctar is a door member, and like everyone said, he's deeply involved in the community. He's also not the only door member who is locked up right now for attending their court appearances. One of our other members, another young man from Guinea, had his court proceedings dismissed over his objections in June, and he has been sitting at MDC in Brooklyn since. We have many members who are so scared to go to court. We, the attorneys, the legal team, can't keep up with the horrors that are taking place. We were never afraid to tell people to go to court. There's never been enough free attorneys, enough free legal support for young people in New York, but I've never seen people afraid of being arrested in court. And we're so scared, our members are so scared. We're doing everything we can to stand with them. I'm really proud to be a co-plaintiff along with African Communities Together in a lawsuit to stop the arrest in courthouse, but it has not been enough. And we're doing everything we can, but we can't stop. We need to keep going, be here, be in the courts, demand that these practices stop, and support our youth and our youth in New York City. So free Mouctar, free Dylan, and free them all. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize and thank my colleague Natasha Williams for joining us from Southeast Queens. And we were also joined earlier by Councilmember Susan Zhuang of Brooklyn, who highlighted to me that many of her constituents, kids, are reaching out to her in her community and letting her know that their parents have been abducted here at federal court, reaching out via social media channels in every way they can to get help. This is impacting every single immigrant community here in New York City, and it is wrong. The final speaker, and then we're happy to answer a few questions, is Ms. Catherine Alford from the NYC Society of Friends Quaker community. They're the neighbor of Mouctar's high school and a place where he's been accessing services and support and been a part of the Quaker community. So thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, hello. Good morning. My name is Catherine Alford, and I am a friend, which is also known as a Quaker. And one of our core beliefs is that the light of God lives in every person. And we have had a long, proudly held tradition of supporting and welcoming immigrants. And we live into our shared testimony of love thy neighbor. Mouctar Diallo is a student at a DOE high school that runs in a Quaker building in downtown Brooklyn. The school is a cherished neighbor to our Brooklyn Meeting House, a house of worship. The culinary program that's been mentioned so many times this morning runs in our meeting house. And Mouctar was there learning how to cook and shared food and fellowship with fellow students, friends, and people in the community. He is a welcome and beloved member of our community. Friends are outraged that he has been arbitrarily detained while following the legal process for asylum. We stand with other faith leaders to challenge the Trump administration's cruel and inhuman immigration agenda. We must stand up to defend the human rights and human dignity of all, no matter their immigration status. We call for the immediate release and support and welcoming of Mouctar Diallo back into his community. Thank you very much. In friendship, New York City Quakers. Woo! Thank you so much.
And our final speaker of the morning is my friend and colleague and neighbor and a great advocate for immigrant New Yorkers, Councilmember Crystal Hudson.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really proud to stand here with the same colleagues, advocates, community members that always come out time and time again to stand up and make clear that we will not stand for ICE disrupting our communities, removing people from their families, removing folks from our school communities, and just as a reminder for the people who might need one, although I know nobody here needs the reminder, that removing a student doesn't just impact the student and that family. It impacts the peers. It impacts the other students who will return to school and not see Mouctar Diallo in his seat in that classroom. It impacts the teachers. It impacts the whole Department of Education, and certainly it impacts the entire city of New York. And so I'm proud to stand here with the advocates, community members, and my colleagues again to say ICE is not welcome here, and we will always do everything in the New York City Council to protect every New Yorker, regardless of immigration status, and that includes adding tens of millions of dollars for immigrant legal services in this budget. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, Councilmember Hudson. And I was just kidding. Our actual final speaker is my friend and colleague from Southeast Queens, the great Natasha Williams.
Yes. Good morning. I was not going to speak, but just listening to the last couple of speakers, I thought it was important that I lend my voice to this absolute nightmare that we've been living in under the Trump administration. When I look at the visuals of ICE agents masked on the street, taking people from their homes, taking people who are rightfully showing up for court, it reminds me of something that some of my ancestors had to go through, which is the KKK. People with hoods on, you can't see their faces, doing horrible things. This is atrocious. We deserve to have liberation in our city, where people are free to come here, to learn, to find a job, to build a family, and to get a home. And I am really honored to stand with my colleagues here who have been leading the fight. Chair Joseph, who is very steadfast about protecting our students. Councilmember Ressler, who is such a leader on these issues. And my colleague, Councilmember Hudson, who is also the chair of the Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus, who is standing up for communities of color in New York City, our immigrant community that is under attack, and of course the New York Immigration Coalition, who has truly been on the front lines. So I just wanted to lend my voice to this. This is horrible. We should not have to relive history by government. We knew that there were some government actors that were posing as KKK members, but they were not government people. In terms of an institution, we have an institution, we have government agents conducting such harm in our communities, and we really need to do something about it. We need to really start putting our bodies on the line. Bring Mouctar home.
Thank you so much.
That's right there.
And we're happy to take a few questions if anyone has them.
Would anybody from the school be willing to speak about him and about his school work and just how well they know him? Somebody be willing to do that? Or we can...
Thank you. Thank you. This is simple. We've been fearing this all summer, and it happened. I really don't know how we're going to start the school year not having Mouctar with us and with the fear of somebody else being abducted by ICE. I'm going to stop speaking here because I'm going to get emotional. But it's not happening. He's a really good kid.
Are you his teacher, sir?
I'm a teacher at Brooklyn Frontiers High School, yeah. And there's many other teachers here, including the principal of the school and people from the community. And we are shocked by what has happened, okay?
And what's your name?
Pedro Grant.
Pedro?
Grant. Yeah, G-R-A-N-T.
Thank you. Thank you, Pedro. Let's give it up for Pedro. Mouctar came here last year and has been following all of the appropriate steps in seeking asylum, seeking safety. He's been represented by the Yerman Group through the asylum process, and they're continuing to represent him at this stage. He came here for the same reasons that immigrant New Yorkers come here every single day, for safety, for opportunity, and there's just no possible defense for why he should be abducted for following the rules and for seeking out a better life here in New York.
Do you know where he is right now, and when's the last time anyone's been in contact with him?
So my understanding is that he's currently in a detention facility in Pennsylvania. His lawyers were in touch with him earlier this week.
I know that the tens of millions of dollars in the most recent budget for legal aid don't just materialize overnight. But at a certain point, will that money essentially pay for lawyers to literally just go stand there at this point? Is that what's needed?
Well, there's a lot more resources that are needed. And we're grateful to the New York City Council and the New York City Council Speaker, Adrian Adams, for making $50 additional million available in this last budget. But we need the Access to Representation Act at the state level to be passed, which would guarantee that anyone showing up to immigration court has a lawyer with them that's provided. Because I think there's a misconception. Because people are afforded a lawyer in the criminal justice system, regardless if they can afford to pay for one or not. That is not the case in immigration court. If you can't afford one, you're on your own. And what we do know is that when you have an immigration attorney going with you and standing with you throughout your process, you have a 10 times more likely chance of winning your case. So thank you for that question, and we need more resources in this moment.
Was there any reason given for why he was detained? Was anyone tried to communicate with ICE or DHS?
No.
And his case was pending, not dismissed, right? Like I know that's
Yes.
been a thing. Okay.
That's right. His case was pending. His attorneys have made clear to us that he was following the rules. There was no reason whatsoever for his abduction. It never should have happened.
What about next steps from this coalition? How are you going to put the pressure on so this is felt?
There's pressure that needs to be added at every level of government. Why is our mayor not standing with us?
That's right.
You had nearly half the New York City Council here. We need to make sure that every level of government is stepping up. In the city, the state, and our federal representatives. We need every single person to step up and fight back with the powers that they have. Our congressional reps to hold ICE and the Department of Homeland Security accountable, as well as the president. We need our state and local reps to invest in protecting New Yorkers, strengthening our sanctuary policies, and making sure that we have the resources needed to fight back in an effective and strategic way.
He was an asylum seeker. He didn't have F1 visa or
That's our understanding.
And he was here alone, right?
That's right.
Has anyone spoken with his family back home? Do we know if they know what's going on?
Not as far as we know.
What grade is he going to?
He's a 12th grader.
He attends a transfer school.
Yeah.
So it's a school for older young adults in the DOE system. It's a great model. Brooklyn Frontiers does a terrific job, and they've really made an effort to engage recently arrived immigrant New Yorkers and embrace them in their school community.
Allow them to work through the Learn to Work program as well.
Going into 12th grade.
Yeah, 12th grader.
Is there any sort of plan to your knowledge as we head into the school year to step up resources around school buildings themselves? I know they haven't raided there per se, but just giving counsel to students, advising them of their rights, watching the routes on the way to school. Is there some sort of plan in place to your knowledge?
I know the last I spoke to New York City Public Schools yesterday in a briefing, I know they have Project Open Arms, they have the Russo, and they have the DOOR working together simultaneously.
And many council members are working directly with school leadership at school buildings across our district, but that's also a question for the administration.
Trying to create safe passage.
Do we know when he came to the United States?
Last year.
Last year. January 2024.
And you said he was very active in the community. Can you just reiterate a couple of the things that he was doing?
Sure. Mouctar recently completed a training program to become a security guard and was eager to work. He's also a member of the Audubon Society. He recently completed a culinary internship program with the Quakers next door. He's been an incredibly active and engaged and dynamic member of the Brooklyn Frontiers High School community. And this has just shocked all of us.
Is this picture from Birdwatch?
Sorry?
It looks like it's taken for bird watching.
Yeah,
he was part of the Audubon Society, and he's also a Learn to Work student, so he was also working and had several roommates as well.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you all for being with us today. Sure. Let's do one more chant, everyone. Free Mouctar! Free Mouctar!